What is good with the YouTube? It is your boy, Sean Rock Titter, representing Mandatory Thrive HGBM, because every day it is mandatory for us to thrive, and I'm back again with another video. And in this video, I want to talk about my mandatory boxing series, where I talk about boxing. I'm a big fan of boxing. I want to talk about the current state of the fight game, and I want to talk about the pound for pound list. But before I get into that, I want to talk about first Loma and Chico and Teofimo Lopez, that fight. I scored the fight for Lopez. Going into the fight, I picked Loma and Chico to win by outboxing Lopez. I thought that his experience, his lateral movement, the fact that he's been on the main stage, on the big stage several times against more elite fighters, I picked Loma Chico to win. But even in that instance, I never counted Lopez out. I thought Lopez would either win by stoppage, would only really win by stoppage. But of course, if you watch the fight, you see that that's not what happened. What ended up happening is that we found out that Lopez was a much better boxer than we really anticipated. He's a counter puncher, boxer puncher type of style. And I thought he won fair and square. I didn't see a draw. Between round 7 and 11, I seen that it was a possibility that it could become a draw, because I felt like Loma Chico started to really dictate the pace. He started to land crisp jabs over Lopez's jab, over his hooks. He started to really put it on him. But then, like with all boxing, in a blink of an eye, it changed. And with Lopez already having the majority of the rounds in the bag already won, him taking a few extra rounds, the fight would go to Lopez, and that's exactly what happened. In a 12th, he came very close, in my opinion. He hurt Loma a couple times, and if there was a few more rounds, I think he would have probably got Loma out of there. So a couple reasons why what I seen, I felt like Lopez was just kind of too big. His size and his power kept Loma at bay. Like, even some of the punches that wasn't landing, because they had so much pop behind the shots, because they were so crisp, Loma was very, very intimidated to take risks. And by the time he started taking risks, like I said, Lopez had already had some shots in the bag. Some rounds in the bag where it was just too much. So he just overwhelmed him. You know what I'm saying? So I had Lopez winning. But before I get into the pound for pound list, I'm not going to say Loma Chico was overrated, but like, the world made it seem as if Loma Chico was just unbeatable, which kind of don't make sense, because there's already a blueprint for him to been beat. You know what I'm saying? So no fighter is unbeatable. You know what I'm saying? Like, every fighter is beatable. You know what I'm saying? So let's just get that out the way. You know what I'm saying? Every fighter is beatable. So to think a fighter is unbeatable makes no sense. And usually when you pick a fighter that you think that, because all fighters still is beatable, but if you pick a fighter that you think won't get beat, it's because you've seen them make mad adjustments with multiple different styles. You know what I'm saying? Like, any style that they face, you've seen them be able to switch gears and make adjustments. And what I seen in the fight is that Loma Chico, all the tricks that he usually do, you know what I'm saying, that really get fighters out of their comfort zone, didn't work. And he couldn't make no adjustments. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep it all the way a beam, just keeping it all the way 100. He couldn't make no adjustments. So yeah, he lost the fight. Now the pound for pound. What is the pound for pound? You know what I'm saying? I think the pound for pound is very subjective, but when you're supposed to assess who's the pound for pound best, there's a couple things that you're supposed to assess. The first thing that you're supposed to look at when you're looking at who's pound for pound is if every fighter was the same weight, the same exact height, who would be number 1 through 10? That's number 1. So when you're looking at it, you have to look at it like that. Then the second thing is the accomplishments of the fighters. What have they have accomplished? How many weight classes have they dominated? You know, who have they beat? Various different things like that. And then you add in the subjective part, you know, preference and different things like that. So I don't like the way the pound for pound list has been laid out. You know what I'm saying? But that's my opinion. I'm going to give my opinion. I never thought Loma was pound for pound number 1. I thought he was pound for pound top 5. You know what I'm saying? But I never thought he was pound for pound number 1. And people like to argue, once again, names. Like the names on your resume. That's accomplishment based. But you got to remember the first part. If all these fighters was the same weight, same height, who would win the fights? That's the first criteria I'm going to give my pound for pound list. Not preference, not personal opinion. Then we go to accomplishments. Then we go to personal preference. So to me, out of all fighters, to me, the number 1 pound for pound fighter is Terrence Crawford. I think he's number 1 for various different reasons. He's a switch mover. He can fight going forward. He can fight going backwards. He got pop. He can punch with either hand. He has feet. He can fight in the pocket. He can fight on the inside. He's athletic. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the names that he has on his resume aren't as notable as the other names, but there's more to a fighter than just a name. What about tenacity? What about skill? What about will to win? All of these different things. And if you look at these different things, some of their names ain't as big, but some of these fighters on his record are just as good as other fighters on other records. So anyways, number 2, I'm going to go with Canelo. Just based on all of the people he fought, how young he is. He's a very, very young champion. All the weight classes that he went up to. Now, there is some things about Canelo where, you know, there's some crap with Canelo. But at the end of the day, he fought everybody they put in front of him. And I like Canelo's style. You know what I'm saying? Canelo style is phenomenal. And when I think about all these other fighters, I personally think everybody at the back end of this list that I'm about to mention, I think Canelo would beat him. Except for Terrence Crawford. Number 3, I'm going to go with Tyson Fury for number 3. Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is a big man, but he moved like a welterweight. He got great feet. He can move side to side. He got great defense. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to box. He can fight on the inside. And his accomplishments is great. So I'm going to go number 1, Terrence Crawford. Number 2, Canelo. Number 3, Tyson Fury. Number 4, I'll give it to Lopez based on his skills as well. But also, he dethroned the number 1 pound for pound champion in the eyes of many. So because he did that, I gotta put him number 4. You know, because if this is the guy that y'all say is the best and he beat him, that says a lot about his skills and his ability. You know what I'm saying? Number 5 may come to a surprise for most of y'all, but it's my opinion. I'm basing it off skills. I'm basing it off of his ability, not necessarily as much about his accomplishments. But number 5, I would have to give it to Demetrius Andrade. I think Demetrius Andrade is number 5. Now, his accomplishments don't match nobody that's going to probably be above him or under him. But skill-wise, when I watch him from the eye test, I think Demetrius Andrade is number 5. Number 6. Number 6. I'm going to roll with Jermell Charlo. I'm going to roll with Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo has dominated the 154-pound division. You know what I'm saying? He got 3 belts. He beat multiple guys. He fought everybody that called him out. He wasn't ducking no smoke. And he's a solid boxer puncher. So I'm going to go with number 6. I'm going to go with Jermell Charlo. Number 7. I'm going to go with Errol Spence. Errol Spence, number 7. I mean, he got 2 belts in the welterweight division. The welterweight division is probably one of the most stacked divisions in the world. You know what I'm saying? And he got marquee names on his resume. He got Sean Porter. He got Kell Brook. You know what I'm saying? Lamont Peterson. You know what I'm saying? So he's dominating. So I'm going to go with number 7. I'm going to go with Errol Spence. Number 8. I'm going to go with Anthony Joshua. Go with Anthony Joshua. And the reason why I'm going to go with Anthony Joshua is because he has been close to undisputed. He had 3 belts. You know, he came back and avenged his loss. You know what I'm saying? He came back and beat Ortiz. And, you know what I'm saying? He's still dominating in the sport of boxing. Number 9, I'm going to go with Lomachenko. I go Lomachenko, still number 9. Even though he lost to Lopez, skill-wise, he got to be top 10. He got to be top 10 just based on what he's accomplished in 15 fights. And just even his amateur pedigree, you know what I'm saying? 400 fights, that's a major accomplishment. 2 gold medals. I mean, you can't really shade a fighter that has those type of accomplishments, especially in 15 fights. You know what I'm saying? That's major. That's big, what he did in 15 fights. Moving up a couple divisions and, you know, beating Gary Russell and Rigo, even though he was too small, but whatever. Number 10, who we gonna go with? And I forget the lighter guys. The lighter guys, I didn't put anybody really lower than 140, 135. I'm gonna roll with Usyk. Just for what he did at cruiserweight. Yeah. I'm gonna roll with Usyk. That's my pound for pound right now. You know what I'm saying? That's who I think is pound for pound. A couple fighters I missed, but that's the fighters I watched. That's the fighters I've seen. That's who I think is pound for pound. What's your pound for pound?